This is good energy, yes, and get supple for the thoracic spine. So warming up here today, interlacing the fingers, body weight on the heels. We're going to make circles. You could think of it as a figure 8 or an infinity sign, rolling the shoulders back and adding a nice deep breath as well. So as you're going, we're going to try to elongate the spine so the chin can snug in a little bit towards the chin towards the neck, crown of the head towards the ceiling, and mostly anchoring the hips in one place. So we are trying to get that mobility immediately happening in the upper back, which is our point of focus for today. It's rolling backward. As the elbow goes up, we're trying not to shrug the shoulder. See if you can actually push the shoulders down away from the ears as you're lifting the arms. Good, and then taking the hands, holding the elbows, inhale, lift the ribs, looking up, and exhale, tuck the nose towards the belly button and tailbone towards the nose, coming down for a stretch. Inhale up. Good, exhale down. So biggest range of motion possible. Inhale up. Good, filling the ribs, expanding through the ribs and stretching between the intercostals will also help loosen things up here a little bit. And we're warming our body up from the inside out with the breath. So make sure those deep inhales coming in through your nose are as big as you can. Each one bigger than the one before. Last one here. And then inhale, bring the arms up overhead. We're going to step the feet together. And then side bend right and left. So a couple things as you do that, trying to keep weight in the heels, pushing the hips forward, and using that bottom arm to pull the top arm over further. Good, inhale, reach. One more each way. And then bringing the arms down with the feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. Crown of the head right over the tailbone. We're going to rotate the upper body from right to left. Just nice and easy. Let the arms swing. So again here, by keeping the hips fixed, we're trying to isolate that range of motion, rotation in the upper back. So the nose, the belly button, and the tailbone stay in alignment, vertical. This should feel really good between your shoulder blades. Good, breathe. These easy rotations like this are a great way to pick up your energy level too, just first thing in the morning or the middle of the day, whenever you need it, that arm swing. You're like kind of releasing energy through the upper body and bringing oxygen up into the brain where we can always use a little bit more. Good, take one arm straight up. I'm going to side bend, so straighten the legs completely, push your hips forward. Side bend over as far as you're comfortable going without collapsing through the side of the body here. And then bring the arm over your ear. Really nice long stretch from the hip out the fingertips. Inhale, come back up. Reach up. Slide sideways over. So you're actually pushing the hips to the side as far as they'll go. And bringing the arm in the opposite direction. Inhale up. Let's do that again. So we go a little bit further. So reaching up, more than just raising the arm. You're reaching up and out of the body. Hips forward. Sideways, pushing your hips the opposite direction. And then bring that arm over for a huge stretch. Should even feel like your skin is stretching. That'd be your fascia. Inhale, come all the way back up. And if you have a foam roller, grab it. That's going to be the next part. The next section is a little bit of mobility work with the foam roller. So with the foam roller under your upper back, and sort of that target location is right underneath where your bra strap would be, or if you imagine like a chest monitor or heart rate monitor strap. I don't even think, do people even use those anymore? I'm dating myself there. So your hips are off the floor and you roll forward and back. All the heart rate monitoring is on your wrist now, right? Mostly, which is so much better. And do you remember you used to have to wet the sensor? Oh my gosh. Rolling just on the ribs. So we're not going into the lower back. And then coming just to the shoulder blades, not to the neck. And then one more each way. And then with the foam roller right underneath that midpoint in the back that we were just discussing, place your hips down on the floor. We're going to make a neck brace. So interlace your fingers and place your hands right behind the back of your head. You'll know it's the right spot if you can barely lift your chin. Okay, so it's a neck brace. And then we're going to inhale and extend the upper body as far back behind the roller as you can. And inhale, come up. We'll just do 3. So keeping your hips on the ground. 2. Inhale back. 1. And then lift the hips. Bring the roller a little bit higher up your back. Just one spine segment higher. So less than an inch. Inhale, come back again. So we are just working some mobility, extension through the spine, through the thoracic spine. So, and it's kind of you're kind of checking for anything that feels stuck. So today, I was pretty mobile in those sections. So I'm gonna go back to where we started with the foam roller right underneath sort of that chest strap area. And I'm gonna go an inch below. So I'm still on the ribs, still in the thoracic spine. And coming back from there. So today for me, this part feels much tighter. So I know this is a better area for me to focus on. When there's no resistance, you really don't need to do any mobility work there. So it's kind of like trial and error. So you're finding the spot where you feel the most stuck. And if it's all tight, then take your time and go through the whole leg. I'm going to do one more, another ½ an inch below that spot. Still over the ribs, just getting closer to the bottom of the thoracic spine. Still with my hips anchored on the floor, one more here. And then up. The reason that we have the hands behind the neck is because if your head is extending, sometimes you can feel like you're getting more movement than you actually are because it's coming from your cervical spine instead of your thoracic spine. All right, we're gonna have a seat with the legs crossed and move into an eldoa posture here for the thoracic spine. For T6 and T7 specifically, so sitting with the legs crossed, we're gonna tent the fingertips. Place the heels of the hands on top of your head and then reach the fingertips as high as you can directly above your head. And give yourself one really nice deep inhale. On the exhale, sink the shoulders down your back. Place the heels of the hands together so the full palms, fingers, heels, everything is touching. Continue to repeat those nice deep breaths. If you're tight in the shoulders, this is going to be a tremendous amount of work. So stay with your breath. That's where you're going to be getting the energy, and you're building up the strength, safe strength through your shoulders. So even if it feels like a lot of work holding here, fight against the resistance. Keep pushing into it. You're building the strength. You're improving the range of motion for the future. Good. Dropping the shoulders down, lengthening up through the crown of the head. We're going to pull the whole length of the spine back slightly. So belly button pulls in, lower back to the wall behind. Arms pulling back over the ears, biceps with the ears. Chin towards the throat. Good, hang in there. Just a couple more breaths. 2 more deep breaths here. One more. And then one arm at a time, coming all the way back down. Nicely done. Turn over onto the hands. So we're going to take the hands sideways. I don't know if this is the best view. Probably turn it this way so I can still see you. So the palms are facing out. Important to have the knees right underneath the hip joint. And we're going to push the shoulders down the back. Chin towards the throat, so long through the back of the neck. Bracing from the abdominals, Inhale your right arm or one arm forward, pushing the shoulders down your back. So it should feel like you're shortening the arm. But keep extending out through the fingertips and through the heel of the hand. Palm is flat towards the wall in front of you. Good, breathing. And then bring the arm all the way down. Same on the other side. Extend. Imagine that you're pulling your tailbone back and the crown of your head forward. Elongating. Shoulder blade is pulling into the back. Shortening the arm. Good. Finding that stretch through the palm of that hand. Bring the arm down. Other side is going to reach out 45 degrees. Okay, so really integrating that shoulder blade towards the spine. Bring down, lengthen out through the crown of the head. Very active position here. Active. Good. Keeping the spine very flat. Switching to the other side. Extend out at 45 degrees. So if you were in the middle of a giant clock, your left arm would be at 10 o'clock. Your right arm would be at 2 o'clock when it's extended. Good. Try to get a little bit straighter out through the fingertips. Pull that shoulder blade into the spine. Out through the crown of the head, like you're bumping the top of your head towards the wall in front of you. Arm comes down. Good. You're doing it right if you're feeling those small shoulder muscles burning. Extend the arm back. Push the shoulder down. The tighter you are through the shoulders, the more you're going to feel this, just like the posture that we did before. Good. Using the muscles in the back of the shoulder, try to rotate the shoulder back and up. So it's causing the fingertips to turn towards the ceiling. Palm of the hand towards the wall behind you. Push the shoulder down really long. Big gap from the ear to the shoulder, and then relax, switching sides. Good. So straight at the elbow. Good. You're rolling that shoulder, this one, back, using the muscles in the back of the shoulder, and then push out long through the arm while the shoulder blade presses down your back. Big gap from the ear to the shoulders. One more deep breath here. And then slowly relax the arm back down. Good job. From here, easy transition. Just take the knees a little bit wider. Inhale your right arm up towards the ceiling. So the whole chest rotates up. And then rotate under. So we're sliding the right arm along the floor. This is going to cause your tailbone to be sticking straight up the highest point of your body here. Head and shoulders resting on the floor. And if you're comfortable, you can take that top arm and reach it back for a stretch. Pushing the bottom arm into the ground. So more than just lying here, actively pushing down with the bottom arm, reaching back with the top arm. And if you're not comfortable having that top arm elevated, just keep supporting yourself here, but actively still pushing down with this bottom arm. Inhale to come back up. And then the left arm goes up. Looking up towards the ceiling, reach back as far as you're comfortable going. Slide the arm underneath. And sometimes this stretch is called thread the needle for obvious reasons. Pushing the bottom arm down into the floor. Maybe taking that top arm back into rotation. So don't worry about how much you're able to twist on this one. As long as you are reaching back as far as you can, or even just pushing down with this bottom hand as strong as you can. That's the idea there. The stretch is between the shoulder blades. Inhale, slowly make your way back up. We're gonna lie on our side next. So if you can lie on your left side, and if you've been doing these, some of these with me before, you've probably done this in the past. I absolutely love this rotational stretch because it's so healing for the spine, and it gives us a lot more range of motion over time. So you're gonna have the palms together. The knees are bent, and kind of tucked up towards you. So you've got a 90-degree angle here to the body, the legs. Head is kind of, might be just like uncomfortably on the floor just for a moment. We're pulling back the top arm along the bottom arm. So this alignment allows us to take the right hand on the left part of the head, on the temple. Take a deep inhale and look as far to the right as you can, keeping the knees stacked. So pushing your hips forward so the hips stay stacked, the knees stay stacked. We're not sliding that top knee backward at all. The entire rotation is meant to come from the upper body and not below the hips. Not at the hips at all. So inhale deeper here. Exhale, see if you can rotate even further towards the right. If you get an extra millimeter or so, hold that with your next inhale. And then exhale, see if you can rotate again. We're going to keep going here until we're not twisting any further back. But if you get an inch, lock it in. Make sure on the inhale you don't return any closer to your previous position. Good, one more deep breath. Exhale, look right, twist towards the right. And then slowly come back to center on your inhale. And we'll switch sides, turning over onto your right. So we're using the breath to increase the range of motion there. So your head is in line with the tailbone. Slide that top arm along the bottom arm so you can grab a hold of your right temple with your left hand. Inhale, look to the left. Exhale, twist back a little bit more. Usually, the first couple breaths are going to give you a couple more inches. But it all depends on how big the inhale is. So when you take your inhale, try to inflate the back of the ribs, the side of the ribs, the front of the ribs. Big belly inhales, full exhales. Good, one more. Remember that the eyes are part of this, so even looking a hard left, stretching through the eyes, it's all connected, so cool. And then slowly back to center, and then come all the way back up to seated, and give your head a moment just to adjust from all of that. Okay, so from seated again, we're going to repeat the T6, T7 elbow that we did earlier, but this time with your other foot in front. So it's most likely that you first did whatever your most comfortable leg is, the one that you would always do. So as long as it feels awkward now, you're most likely on the other side. Tent the fingertips. Find your vertical alignment, crown of the head over the tailbone, heels of the hands on top of the head. Inhale, reach up. Good, pull the belly button in. Good, trying to lengthen, trying to get as tall as you can without shrugging the shoulders. In fact, shoulders are pushing down into the spine. Shoulder blades are squeezing together into the back. Good, and then be careful not to lift your ribs. So keeping the ribs level so the back stays straight and not extended into a backward arch. Pulling the arms backward, backward, backward. Keep pulling the chin in like double chin. Crown of the head flat to the ceiling. If you're trying to get taller by lifting the top of your head higher up to the ceiling, you can do that by pulling down with the shoulders, keeping the elbows as straight as you can. Stay with your breath. Every breath counts. It's just like before on those side twists, where the deeper the inhale, the more elongated through the spine. Good, keep pulling the arms back. One more deep breath here. And then relax one arm at a time, all the way back down. Okay, we're gonna finish on our back today. So from on our back, a couple options here. First one, and we're just elongating a little bit more. With your feet on the ground, We're gonna lift the hips into a bridge. Inhale the arms overhead. Tuck the tailbone under, so we're lengthening the lower back. And then pull your tailbone towards your heels. You should feel this stretching through your back. Pull your tailbone to your heels and lower one vertebrae at a time back to the mat until you relax your pelvis down. And then bring both knees into your chest for a hug. And we're going to repeat that. So feet to the floor. Roll up, hips high. Inhale the arms over the head. Tuck the tailbone under, so that's a posterior pelvic tilt. And then with your kneecaps reaching away from you, forward, pull the spine one vertebrae at a time back down onto the floor. And then when the whole weight of your pelvis is back on the floor, bring the knees up and pull in for a hug. Lengthening again through the lower back. One more time here. Feet to the ground. Good. Roll up as high as you can up onto the shoulder blades. Inhale the arms overhead. And then start tucking the tailbone under, placing first the upper back, middle back. Trying to get the lower back segmentally positioning itself back down to the floor one by one by one. You can feel the tight spots. It's where they all want to go down together, right? And then at the end, bring the knees in for one more hug. This is our grand finale. Pull in for a nice deep stretch. Encircle the ankles a little bit. Good, and then with the arms out wide, feet back down to the floor. Tip your knees to the right and turn your head to the left. Good, on your exhale, back to center. Tip your knees to the left, turn your head to the right. Another deep inhale through the ribs. Good, and then on your next exhale, everything back to the center to come up. You're gonna bring the hands under the knees. If you're comfortable, rock and roll your way back up to seated. You need to be a little bit more careful of your back. Turn your whole body to the side. Use your hands and your arms to help you come back up. I hope we are all just a little bit more supple than we were almost 25 minutes ago. Have a beautiful day. Let's do this again.